Hi guys, I'm gonna tag a few friends before I get started. Actually, I'm not, because I only have 15 minutes, and that is not enough time. Hang on. I'm gonna turn down one of these lights, because the poor light is like right in my, there we go, right in my view. So PTSD has really been kicking my ass this week. It is giving me more anxiety than I could imagine, mostly because I remembered some new stuff this week. So people who know me, people who don't, I've been updating my trauma story as I remember things, because slowly but surely I continue to remember details of what happened due to the nature of my trauma. I was high when I had my trauma, and to this day I'm still remembering certain things, but I thought I would give you guys an updated version because I remembered some new stuff this week and it's driving me a little bit crazy, and I only have 13 minutes to get this out, so I'm gonna do my best because I have to go get kids from the buses in about 13 minutes. So I wanted to get high because I wanted to forget things that I was upset by, trauma, whatever. And I just wanted to forget for like an hour or two, so I wanted to get high, and I went to a friend who I thought was a friend and asked him to get me some weed, which was fine, except for the fact that he wanted to be paid in sex instead of money. And I thought, big deal. In the grand scheme of things, I could actively make a choice to do that because it was the lesser of two evils. Well, cut to us smoking together and then me passing out. I woke up and he was raping me, and I could hear my own blood-curdling screams coming through my ears, and it took me a second to figure out exactly what the sound was, but it was my own screaming. And he was rather upset that I was screaming. He wanted me to be quiet, and he wanted me to stop talking, or stop screaming. And while he was still inside of me, he leaned down and said, "Shh, shh, shh, you'll be okay." Well, that didn't work, obviously. So I kept screaming because, honestly, to me, that was the only way that I could fight back. That was the only way, because I couldn't move my body to fight back, and maybe somebody would hear me, and maybe somebody would save me. So when trying to calm me down didn't work, he punched me right across the face. And I just kept screaming. Honestly, the entire time I could think the only thing that's gonna save me is if I keep screaming and somebody hears me. Well, punching me in the face didn't work, and honestly, why would you think that would work? Because it would just make you more angry and make you want to scream more. So he put his hands around my throat and kept screaming, not to kept screaming, but he put his hands around my throat to literally make me stop screaming. And all the while, he was still raping me, and choking me didn't work either, because I couldn't move, and I couldn't make myself struggle because I was stoned, and because of the way my body was positioned, I couldn't move. But I thought, if I keep screaming, someone will hear me. Well, the fact that I was still screaming made him really mad. So he turned me over and continued with the rape, but he decided to put his rather, sizable forearm, because I was a young girl or a young woman and not a big girl, so he took his arm and put it over my shoulder blades and tried to push my body into the back seat so that I would literally not be able to breathe, to stop me from screaming. But in my head I was thinking, if you can't move, if your arms are pinned behind your back, because he had pinned his arms behind my back, or my arms behind my back, he had that thing where you pull your shoulder back and your hand is kind of stuck and there's nothing that you can really do, or you're I couldn't move, so I thought, keep screaming, someone's got to hear you, we're in a residential area. There was literally a picket fence to the right of me, and I don't understand how no one heard me, but he was rather mad that the squishing the life out of me didn't work, and that made him even more mad. And he took his arm off me, and I thought, God, I'm gonna have a chance to fight. I'm gonna be able to flip over. I'm gonna be able to hurt him. And I felt cold metal on the back of my neck, kind of at the base of the skull. And he told me that if I didn't shut the fuck up, that he would kill me, because he was holding a gun to the back of my head. And I was still in fight mode, so I kept screaming. Sorry, guys. He pulled the trigger, and thank God the gun jammed, because I wouldn't be here today if it didn't. And I was so scared. And I stopped fighting. I stopped fighting, and I just prayed for it to be over. And the part that I learned yesterday was that it was not over. I thought that after the gun jammed, he was so frightened and so confused that he just put my clothes back on after I passed out and got me and then started driving me home. But that wasn't the case. I learned that I gave up and I stopped fighting, and I let him do what he wanted to do, because at that point it was survive, and there was nothing keeping him from not reloading that gun. So all I wanted to do was survive. That being said, the part that's kicking my ass about all of this is not that I remembered that, but the fact that I stopped fighting. At what point is it not about survival anymore? At what point do you start blaming yourself for stopping the fighting and just taking it? At what point do you get mad at yourself because you just laid there and took it in order to survive? I know that advocates will tell you that survival is paramount and that the most important thing in the world is to have survived an attack and nothing else matters, but today I blame myself for giving up and giving in. Today I blame myself for not fighting anymore. I don't blame myself for his actions. I don't blame myself for the trauma that he caused, but I blame myself for not fighting anymore. Anyway, I've got 4 minutes to clean up my face and go pick up kids from buses, so hopefully the fact that I got on here and was willing to tell my story will do somebody some good. Wishing you guys a better day than I'm having. Bye.